Hey, welcome back. Today, we're going to crack open a spiritual toolkit that's over 1,500 years old. It's a collection of stories, but not just any stories. These were designed to get inside your head and actually shape your moral compass for life. But that brings up a huge question, right? How do you make a lesson, a really important value, stick? Not just for a day, but for generations. I mean, that's the big challenge for every parent, every teacher, every leader, isn't it? Well, for a group of monks back in 5th century Central Asia, the answer wasn't some dense philosophical text or a boring list of rules. The answer, like it so often is, was just a really, really good story. Or in this case, a whole bunch of them. What they put together is known as the Sutra of Miscellaneous Treasures. And you can really think of it like an ancient spiritual toolkit. It's got 121 fables, legends, and parables, and every single one was crafted to plant a core moral lesson so deep in your mind that you'd never ever forget it. So let's see what some of these lessons were. Okay, first up is one of the most foundational duties in this worldview, filial piety. You know, that deep respect and sense of duty you owe to your parents. And the sutra doesn't mess around here. This isn't just about being polite at dinner. Caring for your parents is treated like a sacred act. The text basically says, if you want to have gods in your home, all you have to do is take care of your mom and dad. Wow. I mean, the message is just incredibly powerful. And these stories, they really don't shy away from taking this idea to its absolute limits, which leads to a pretty intense question. What's the most extreme sacrifice someone could possibly make for their family? So one of the most unforgettable stories in the whole collection is about a young prince. His family gets exiled, and they're starving out in the wilderness. His parents are on the verge of death, so the prince does something unthinkable. He secretly, day after day, cuts pieces of his own flesh from his body to feed them. And here's the logic of the story. This act of self-sacrifice is so pure, so absolute, that it literally moves the heavens. And because of that, his body is miraculously made whole again. So the takeaway is crystal clear. In this moral universe, the debt you owe your parents for giving you life is basically infinite. You can never fully repay it. But that effort, that striving to repay it, isn't just some personal virtue. It's the very glue that holds society together. Okay, so if that's the duty, what's the cosmic engine that enforces it all? Well, running underneath every single one of these stories is a universal law, a principle of cause and effect that you've probably heard of: karma. And the sutra shows how karma works with, honestly, stunning clarity. It's not vague at all. Take the story of an old woman who's a slave. The story asks, why is she a slave? Well, because lifetimes ago, when she was a nun, she got angry and insulted her peers, calling them slaves. The consequence is a direct mirror of the action, simple as that. And the payback isn't just for a little while. That one moment of hateful speech leads to 500 lifetimes of suffering. That's not just some random number. It's meant to make you feel the incredible, terrifying weight that your actions carry. This is really the fundamental physics of the world these stories live in. Nothing just disappears. Every action, every word, every single thought sends out ripples across time that will, eventually, come back to you. Maybe in this life, maybe in a life 500 years from now. Now, this whole idea of actions echoing across lifetimes, it sets up one of the most fascinating threads in the entire collection, a rivalry that is literally for the ages. Throughout these fables, you see two figures show up again and again, just in different costumes. On one side, you have the hero, who we're told is a past version of the guy who will one day become the Buddha. And on the other side is his cosmic nemesis, his jealous cousin Devadatta, who is always there to cause trouble. The perfect metaphor for their relationship is the story of the two-headed bird. So picture this: one bird, one body, but two heads. One head, that's the future Buddha, is really good at finding the most delicious, sweet fruit to eat. The other head, that's Devadatta, just watches, getting more and more jealous by the day. Eventually, the jealous head gets so twisted up by its own envy that its logic just completely breaks. It thinks, he always gets the good stuff and I get nothing. You know what? I'm going to eat this poison fruit right here and it'll kill both of us. And it does. It's such a chilling and perfect illustration of how envy, at its core, is just a form of self-destruction.
And get this isn't just a one-time story. This pattern shows up over and over again. Devadatta is the evil monkey who dooms his whole troop. He's the ungrateful merchant who kills the very turtle that saved his life. He's the hunter, the jealous queen. In story after story, he is the embodiment of greed, envy, and betrayal, always set against the Buddhist compassion. It gives the whole collection this incredible mythological depth.
So after all that, what's the big idea here? Why wrap these huge concepts about duty, karma, and envy in stories about talking birds and magical princes? Well, it all comes down to a really cool Buddhist concept called upaya, which basically translates to skillful means. The idea is simple. You don't teach a child the same way you teach a philosophy professor. A good teacher uses whatever tool works best to get the lesson across, to make the listener truly get it. And in this case, the best tools were these amazing stories. And that's really the genius of this sutra. These are not just bedtime stories for kids. They are incredibly sophisticated psychological tools. You might forget a boring lecture about the dangers of envy, but I guarantee you will never forget the image of that two-headed bird poisoning itself out of pure spite. That's skillful means. Which brings us right back to where we started. These ancient storytellers knew that a powerful story is maybe the greatest technology ever invented for passing on our values. And that makes me wonder, what are the stories that have shaped you? The fables, the family legends? What narratives are living inside of you today? Thanks for watching.